Good morning, everyone. I am so happy to be here. Welcome to Morning Motivation, where we are learning or beginning to shift our mindset in choosing to want to get out of bed instead of feeling like we have to get out of bed. I tell you what, that is a different mindset shift, and it allows you to just show up in the world the way you want to show up. First of all, let me just say this: you are awesome, you are powerful, can do all things through Jesus Christ. You can begin to make things happen, and most importantly, as we're talking about the series of abundance, you can also be and live in abundance. Okay, so today, as we get started, I want to introduce my co-host Jasmine Porter. She is on Clubhouse because we are streaming from Facebook, YouTube, and on Clubhouse. So as she is doing an introduction on Clubhouse, I am doing an introduction here on Facebook. Um, and so as we begin to bring our words together, and her beliefs and values are to love yourself, love your family, and there love your life. She helps new entrepreneurs get clear and organized and paid, sis. The money is key. She helps you get clear, organized, and paid while connecting you to like-minded entrepreneurs so that you can own your superpower and gain knowledge that helps lead you to your next elevation, to your next. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and bring Alicia to the stage on Clubhouse. This room is streaming on multiple platforms, so you will see us jump back and forth. But we want to say, hey, thank you for tuning in to Hey Sis, Show Up For You. Good morning. Good morning. I am so excited to be here. I want to welcome you to the room and thank you for just tuning in and choosing to show up for yourself today. I want to go ahead and jump into the series. And Jasmine, thank you so much for the awesome introduction. Um, and also, please be sure if you are not a part of the Intentional Success Tribe, please go ahead and click that link above and join in. This is where we collaborate. This is how me and Jasmine met. This this is how we formed this awesome partnership. So if you are looking for these for better and deeper connections, please go ahead and join in on the success. Join in the Facebook Success Tribe Facebook group. Okay, so today let's go ahead and jump into it. So yesterday, not last week, yesterday, we entered into the series of living in abundance. And so I shared a story of how this topic even came to be. And so what I shared was the I was just in the shower and I just had some soap and the soap was about empty. And so where my mind went, I said, "Ooh," I said, well, if I use the rest of this, I might have to, I don't know, I might have to just be a little stingy." But then I remembered that I had another bottle of soap underneath my bathroom cabinet. So then it clicked. God was like, "Hold on, that's a whole message right there. The difference between living in scarcity and living in abundance. Whenever you view things in a scarce mindset, you tend to want to hold on and pinch and hoard and just be in a mindset of not enough. But when you live in the abundance mindset, it's like you can move freely because you know that if this goes away, then you have something else in reserve. Like you already have it. Even if you don't see it, you already have it, right? And so where we are going today is I want to talk about a story, jump into a story of a woman who literally who living in scarcity. She was getting ready to fix her last meal for her and her son, and they were going to die. I don't know if y'all got that. She was going to fix her last meal and then she was going to die, her and her son. But then someone came along and showed her how to actually live a life of abundance by simply using the things that they had in their house in the first place. And so let me, Jasmine, do you have anything to say before I jump into actually get okay? All right, good. So and this story comes out of First Kings chapter 17, verse 10 through 16. In it, and I'm reading from the Message Bible, and this is what it says. So he got up, talking about Elijah. Elijah, before actually meeting this woman, Elijah was actually, God had sent him to a place because there was a drought in the land. God had actually sent him to a place of where he can get fresh water and food, and that God's showing him how he provides for him. But Elijah already understood the life of living in abundance and not living with abundance. There's a difference between living in abundance and living with abundance. And that difference is we hoarding things, being a person that just has a lot of stuff and you're just happy because you have a lot of stuff. But then when that stuff doesn't that stuff ends up like going away, rusting, and having to throw it out. But living in abundance says that you're always going to have exactly what you need when you need it. All right. So Elijah already understood that. So let's go ahead and keep reading. So he got up and went to Zarephath. As he came to the entrance of the village, he met a woman, a widow, gathering firewood. He asked her, "Please, would you bring me a little water in a jug? I need a drink." As she went to get it, he called out, "And while you're at it, would you bring something to eat?" She said, "I swear, as surely as your God lives, I don't have so much as a biscuit. I have a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a bottle. You found me you found me scratching together just enough firewood to make a last meal for my son and me. After we eat, we'll die." Elijah said to her, "Don't worry about a thing. Go ahead and do what you've said, but first make a small biscuit for me and bring it back here. Then go ahead and make a meal from what's left for you and your son. This is the word of God of Israel." The jar. Okay, so before I even move on to that, can you imagine having a scarce mindset? And with having a scarcity mindset, someone telling you to go ahead and make that, but bring that to me. When you bring that to me, don't worry about it. Can you imagine somebody saying that to you? Like, Jasmine, go ahead. Like, can you imagine, like, good and well that this is your last. You don't even want to share. I tell you all the time, I don't be wanting to share nothing. But this is my very last. And in my mind, this woman's mindset is set on dying. So in my mind, she's set on dying, but this man comes in and says, "No, give me that, give me that last piece of biscuit before you decide to die." Like, Jasmine, go ahead.
Okay, so so just I'm going to do a quick reset while I'm on Facebook real quick. So we're in the Intentional Success Tribe. If you're not a part of the tribe, go ahead and click the greenhouse above. You're tuning in for Hey Sis Show Up For You, and our topic for today is living in abundance. So I want to go ahead and dive into it. You said a lot, Alicia, a lot, even down to the story and things like that. But this story that you picked out is perfect for me because I sometimes when we look at stories, we make it so complicated. And even for people that don't think they're living in a scarcity mindset or don't think they have it, like I didn't know I had it either. So like I want to take away the idea of the scarcity mindset, because for a lot of people that might cause you to be offended. But like I want you to be in tune with yourself right now with where you are. So for me, if someone is telling me to give my last, I know I don't, right now at this moment, I know I don't have nothing else coming up. I don't have nothing else coming out, but I need to literally bless someone else or give a seed to someone else in order for me to get more. My first automatic mind out of experience, not like in my own personal experiences, that sounds slow. Like what are we doing here? If this is all I have, if I only have one sandwich to eat for lunch today, I'm not why would I give you my last sandwich? That makes no sense to me. None, right? But when we're thinking about things in a spiritual aspect, we're thinking about the exchange and transference of energy. So when it comes down to, hey, I need to give, I have this thing that I've been building, that I've been holding on to, that I know is going to sustain me for a minute. But in order to literally to transfer that energy, to plant something so that my next, the thing that's in the future, can now come to manifestation, I need to sow a seed. So it goes back to that idea of reaping and sowing. So when we talk about abundance, we don't necessarily look at it as there's a lot of times that we look at abundance as, the continuous overflow. Sometimes you got to hold on to things for yourself. But the idea of abundance is that I have all I need in this moment. And it's not that I need to make it stretch. It's that I know that more is coming, and more is always going to come, because not only am I here, but more is always going to come because it is a gift from God. So when it comes to this story, I remind people, I love reading the text. I like going to the beginning of the text, right? So the beginning of the text talks a lot about Elijah. And one of the things when Alicia brought this text to me, I was confused, because I'm like, okay, Elijah, we know Elijah been named. He's a prophet in the world. He's a prophet in the Bible that is well known for a lot of things, right? But that main text the text starts off as the Lord, like literally, it tells who Elijah is, where he's going. It says, as the Lord, the God of Israel lives, whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years, except at my word. And when I read that, I was like, okay, like, why does Elijah start this? Why does the chapter start off with Elijah having this so much power, so much strength? Like, what makes him stand out against a woman that was literally preparing for the last meal? And for Elijah, there was a few things that stood out. One, Elijah had a higher consciousness of self. He knew exactly who he was, sis. Like, no one had to say, Elijah, who are you? Like, no one had to say, Elijah, where are you going? And part of it, if you look at the story of Elijah, the journey that Elijah went through, there's a lot of stuff that Elijah went through. I don't know about anybody else, and maybe I'll pass it back to Alicia so we can have some dialogue. But Elijah was having ravens bring him food. He was traveling all the time. He had to know certain directions. And I was like, hold on, take a minute back. Like, this, we won't think of abundance as, Elijah having confidence in knowing who he was. Because if you looked at his life from surface, you would think he was poor. But when you looked at how much power he had, how much he knew who he served, he knew his power and dominion, he knew the power of his words. That last verse said that he knew there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years, except at my word. So except at his word will there be rain. Can you imagine, like, what things in your life have you said, except at this time nothing will happen until I say something? The money will come and it will never stop until I say it needs to stop. The resources will come until, I say it will stop. But none of us really sit in that power. So, like, I started to ask God, like, what is it so much about abundance that makes it so unique? And it was that idea. He knew who he was. He knew whose he was. So I'm gonna pass it back to Alicia for that part and see what you got coming to mind.
All right, so you asked a good question. So a little bit of background about Elijah and why he's so important when we talk about the keys and the concepts of understanding abundance and living in abundance is the fact of, one, you brought it up, a good point, which was Elijah knew who he was and whose he was. He didn't get it confused. Elijah was a prophet. And so what he would do is he would go around and he would literally tell kings, like, hey, this is coming, you need to prepare for this. And a lot of people, because of what he said, it came like it was just verbiage straight from God, because of what he said. Because of what he said, a lot of people did not like what he actually brought to the table. And so he did go through a lot of turmoil, and he also, he went through a lot. But when it comes to, because of his obedience and because of his obedience and because of his relationship with God, God led him in the in the teaching or the example of showing what abundance looks like. And so you're right. As Elijah went through, you would think he was a homeless man because he lived off the, I would say lived off the land, but he really lived off the kingdom of God. There's a difference between living off, and I have this thing where I talk about like living off the government, right? And so we can talk about naturally living off the government here on earth, but then there's a way of living off the government, living off the kingdom of God. And so when you live off the kingdom, when you're living off the kingdom of God, you have an understanding that you never run out of anything. And God, that one saying that God may not come when you want him, but he's always on time. That's where a lot of that phrase comes from, is because when we live in abundance, we just depend on God to bring us everything that we need. So and that's even in times where it looks like we don't have anything. And so let me go ahead and push through to the next portion. And so this next portion of where I want to bring up was after she sowed a seed. That's another thing I wanted to bring up. So you talked about sowing seed, reaping and sowing, right? That's another key principle that we need in law that we have, which is reaping and sowing. And so what he helped us to see was she actually had seed. We titled this message on Facebook anyway, is what's in your house, because a lot of times we might be looking at oh my God, I have nothing, there's nothing here, this is all I have. But all you have could be the exact seed you need in order to propel you to your next destination, propel you to your next level. But what we do is we have the mindset of what the lady has, and we say, I'm just going to eat this and die. But what we have to begin to say is, well, what do I have in my home? What do I have in my ability? What can I do in order to not feel like I'm just literally gonna die? So when you're looking at the seed, and she was obedient to what she said. So or what he said. So let's go ahead and move on to
Alicia, can I jump in for you?
yes, go ahead.
All right. Okay. So one of the things that Alicia said that was really key, and so people on Facebook, I apologize. If you don't know, now you know. I'll be having conversations with God. So if I look over and I'm like doing stuff, I'm in the conversation. I just be me and God be lovely conversating at times all day during the time. So people that can't see me on Clubhouse, I'm sorry, I have to explain that to the people that's on Facebook. So with that being said, one of the things that Alicia said was we depend on God for what you need, right? One of the things, and I want you to look at how different this sounds. So if you depend on God and your mindset is always looking at what you don't have, you're always going to outwardly look at things that you need externally. So you're going to say, well, if you know what, I'm depending on God for more money, I'm depending on God for a new job, I'm depending on God for a new house, I'm depending on God for a new car. But if you take a step back, that's looking at things from what you a space of what you need, right? That's what they call a scarcity mindset. It's always looking in the deficit of what you do not have. But when you look at things from an abundant mindset and perspective, I want you to see the shift. The shift is, instead of you looking for things externally, you look for things internally. So you're saying, okay, you know what, I have all that I need. I have a good job, I have a good house, I have a good car, I have many gifts. Let me see, what gifts, God, should I use today? What I'm good at business, I'm good at administration. Maybe if I could put my hands to building something with business and administration, I could produce a business. I'm good at arts and crafts. I love decorating things, I love creating centerpieces and things like that. So now maybe I could create a centerpiece that I can sell these. Now I can produce something. So even when she's going back to this story, right? This story says, it's as simple as this. This story says, Elijah tells the woman, you know what? She's like, I don't have enough. All I have is a little bit of stuff so I can make some bread, and I have, a little bit. I can see what I can do with some water. He tells her, okay, what you have, like literally, his words is, what you have is enough. So go ahead and you can go give me something so that you can give to someone else. But now you can also go back and reproduce. Now, this system that he sets up is literally pulling her from a place of where she said, I did not have, I need other things, to saying, I have all that I need to start doing something with. Like I can stop focusing on, you know, what I think I need and focus on what I have, so now I can produce something else. So the question that I have for some of you all and think, and it's something that me and Alicia reflect on daily too, is what do I have right now in this moment? Because a lot of us get caught up in this, you know, we all know we like, for those that believe, we all know we depend on God, right? But depending on God is more than just saying, you know, I'm going to sit and wait for other things that I might need. It's taking the time to do some self-evaluation to see what do I already have. So I want to bring, I think Alicia is bringing it up, right? So Elijah says in verse 13, he says, when she says we're just going to eat and die, he says, don't be afraid. So one, he spoke to her fear. One of the things that you see when you have when you're living in, or you're thinking from a idea of I don't have what I need, is you'll always see fear present. You'll always see fear that if I give this last thing, I won't have anything else. If I do this, will I get punished for it? If I do, what will I lose? Instead of saying what will I gain, right? So the idea is when he spoke to her and he said, "Don't be afraid," he was saying, like, speaking not only to her emotions, but speaking to her mindset of this will not be how you die, right? This won't be it. So then when he told her, he said, go home, do as you said, but first give the first piece of bread to him. Make a small loaf, give it to him, right? And then literally in verse 14, he goes and he says, literally, the jar of flour will not be used up, and the jug of oil will not run dry until the day that the Lord sends rain on the land. So he told her not only a time frame, but he let her know that it would not run dry. This woman did not know when it would rain, right? So she was already like, if she's already thinking like, you know, I'm afraid that I'm going to eat and die. And he said, don't be afraid. Now her next thing is saying, okay, well, if I'm afraid and you telling me like, okay, what I have is not gonna run dry till it rains. The next thing people go straight to, and this is what my mind went straight to, right? It went straight to, okay, well, what if it rained tomorrow? So why would I give you my piece of bread? But that goes back. That takes a step back to say, where is my mindset? But for Elijah knew that that woman, she was gonna have flour and she's gonna have oil, because at the beginning of the chapter, he said, quote unquote, and this is quote. Y'all can go check it out. Check it out. He said, literally at the beginning of the chapter, he said, "As the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, whom I serve, there will neither be dew nor rain in the next few years, except at my word." So Elijah already knew he had the power to say when it was going to rain. God had given him that power to say when it was going to rain. So he already knew if this woman did, as he said, he would be her blessing of abundance, because she did not know when it was going to rain. But many times we don't even get that far. We stay stuck in what is it that I need? Where is the deficit? Instead of what is it that I have, and understand that what I have is enough until it's time for me to move on to my next. So I'm going to pass the mic back to Alicia. And then I do want to let you all know as well that we have some amazing people on the stage on Clubhouse. But I'm going to pass it to Alicia just so she can wrap up on Facebook, and then we'll come back.
Here's the thing. What we're giving you today is understanding, right? Understanding abundance, understanding the process. So we're using this example to understand the process of going from thinking that, you know, I don't have what it takes. I don't have what, you know, when it comes to investing in myself, when it comes to sowing seed in my life, even when things don't look like there is anything there, right? So we're giving you understanding, we're giving you backdrop as to what you can do whenever you're here. So a lot of, because we're in the intentional success tribe, a lot of us are women who are in business. So let's take this whole abundance mindset into the fact of, you know, how this looks for our business. This is looking at this, right? How many times are you proposition or you are feeling a umph to maybe sign up for something, or maybe go, you know, do something different in your business, but then you look at the circumstances through your natural eyes. You look at the circumstances and say, I don't have this. I can't do that. I don't have enough for that. How often do we do that? And then we sell ourselves short from actually moving on to our blessing, and not even just our blessing, but to our new way of life. Because if we go on to 15 and 16, as she was obedient, and Jasmine, you said something very, very key here, and you talked about her fear. He addressed her fear because before she even said she was afraid, she didn't even have to say she was afraid. Fear is simply a part of the mindset of feeling like you don't have enough. That's why we hoard things. That's why we hold on to things that we don't need to hold on to. That's why we hold on to past or comfort zones and things like that. So he addressed the fear before she even had to address it. So what he did was he addressed the fear. She was strong enough to say, okay, I hear where you're going with this. But then he began to speak into her life, because there's a system here, right? When it comes to understanding your abundance. Yeah, you see what's going on, but then address your fears, but then begin to speak into your situation and sow the seed. Sow what you need to do in order to multiply where you're trying to go, or multiply what you have. All right. So 15 and 16 says, and she went right off and did just as Elijah asked, and it turned out as he said, daily food for her and her family. The jar of meal didn't run out, and the bottle of oil didn't become empty. God's promise fulfilled to the letter exactly as Elijah had delivered it. So you have to remove the fear and believe in the kingdom, but begin to know who you are and whose you are, so that you understand that you are that you are not lacking anything, and that you have everything that you need, that you live a life of abundance. And so let me go ahead and let Miss Renette is on stage. Miss Renette, do you have I'm sorry, go ahead, Jasmine. You were about to say something. And then Miss Renette.
No, are you going to have it pushed towards the thing so they can still hear her on Facebook? Okay, cool. Go ahead. So we have the amazing, lovely Renette Upson Bush. If you do not know, let me reintroduce you all, or let me introduce you, because you may not know. But we have the amazing Renette Upson Bush, you all, and she has she amazing gift. She's a phenomenal person. So her belief and her value is there is greatness that is so strong on the inside of you, and you can't let it die there. She is all about that purpose, that passion, that drive, that success, and that greatness, because it's on the inside of you, and it is waiting to come out, waiting to come into manifestation, waiting to evolve. And she is that person that literally helps coach you and get you to that. But I want to go ahead and introduce to some and reintroduce to others the amazing Renette Upson Bush. Go ahead, Miss Renette.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you for that most wonderful introduction. Thank you for the invite to the stage. I appreciate you all. I kind of came in on the middle of what you all were talking about, but one of the things that I heard you all saying, and just correct me, that you all were talking about not comfort zone. You were talking about living in fear and not moving forward. Am I correct?
We're talking about abundance, so living in abundance. And what we did, we used the story
abundance mindset, and not letting
yes
allow you to be stagnant and to not go after your blessing. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. Right, fear. As we know, it paralyzes us. It keeps us stuck. And I always say to people, most of the time, if you really think about fear, my thing that I heard, and I just really believe this because this was me. I was stuck. Fear is the F is for friends, the E enemies, and the A, and then R is for relatives. Many times, because we're stuck into what the friends saying, we're stuck by their opinions, friends, enemies, and relatives. We are stuck in what they told us we couldn't do, where they where we can't go. And so that just builds up and adds to the fear. And then with that being said, when we were already fearful, already going through these things, we find excuses, we lack the self-confidence. And so we have to learn to really speak back to that fear and not allow that to get us still stuck and stagnant. And even though, you know, your friends, you have your relatives and everybody in your ear, some of them don't like your enemies, of course. They never want to see you get ahead. But sometimes your friends and your family, they want you to play safe. They want you to, you know, stay in that comfort zone. But you have got to take fear and deal with it. You got to face it, deal with the challenges, the problems. And through that is how you can move forward. A lot of people, I hear so many people say that you cannot operate in faith and fear. I totally disagree with that. I believe that if you have enough faith, you can move forward even in your fear. And so go ahead and move, even though you're fearful. You take one step, you got to take some action. You take that step, and then God is going to move you forward. So you can operate in faith and fear. And through that process, get yourself around the right people, acquire some skills, and learn the things that's going to help you to move forward. And continue to believe, even though it's hard. And one thing that I know is when you're trying to move forward and you know that there is more for you and you have that abundant mindset, you can't speak prosperity and negativity at the same time. So you have to make a choice that, you know what, I'm going to move in faith, even though I'm fearful. And whatever negativity I'm hearing, I'm seeing, what I'm surrounded by, I have to move that out of my way so that I can move towards the abundance that I know that God has for me. And a lot of times, like I think it was Jasmine that talked about it, we're waiting a lot of times on God and saying, okay, well, God, you know, I'm here. Yeah, you're here, but what are you doing? So you got to make some steps. You have to take some action. And if you don't move forward to do that, then it's not going to happen. So we have to just keep ourselves in a space and place of abundance. Even though we have fear, don't allow it to keep you still, stuck, and stagnant. Move forward in your faith. Let your faith be stronger than your fear. Get rid of the negativity and move forward into the prosperity and the abundance that you so deserve. I'm complete.
Yes. Thank you so much, Renette, for that share. And you said something that was so powerful to me is you can't be in both. You can't speak that you want to be in prosperity and then go back to like feeling like you don't have anything that you need. So one of the things, it's an amazing book that I read. It's 36-minute audio book. You all, I can send it to you. Message me in the back channel if you want it, or reach out to Alicia if you want that book. And basically what the book talks about is that you have to literally establish to a new mindset. You have to literally cut from that initial mindset, because the initial mindset that you have can keep you, although you may be speaking abundance, although you may be wanting and desiring it, although you may be moving towards it, if you keep that same talk, that same negative self-talk, it can literally keep you in a place where you're not able to move forward, because that formal mindset has not been taken out and replaced with a new one. So what they say is the mindset that you need for abundance is always gratitude. When you're thankful for what you have, and then you're thankful for what's coming next, or thankful, not even what's coming next, but you're thankful for what you have, and then you're acknowledging that what you have is enough, but there's so much more in the world that you could be doing. So like literally, one of the things that Alicia was talking when she asked the question, she posed it, right? Her pose was, what happens when for a lot of us, we're business owners, we're entrepreneurs, what happens when we get stuck in fear? So I'm going to give y'all a real quick testimony, and then we're going to wrap up on Facebook and then come back over to Clubhouse to continue the conversation and then wrap up a little bit. But I'm going to give you a personal testimony, because sometimes the only way you can see things is through testimonies. Like, because sometimes we don't want to apply things to ourselves. That's a whole nother conversation at a later time. Later date, later time. But basically, one of the testimonies, when I first started my business, I knew that I wanted to I needed a different tribe. I needed people that I connect with that would expand my mind in business, but then also push me to elevate and push me out of my comfort zone. Because a lot of times, you're right, we are looking to God to fix our problems when God has saying, I've already given you all you need internally and externally so that you can elevate. So I got connected to the Intentional Success Tribe, y'all. And I was like, you know what? My finances ain't the way I want them to be. I made every excuse in the book to stay stuck. But the first thing, like that woman, when Elijah gave her a message, Elijah gave her and presented her with an opportunity. He presented her with an opportunity that she didn't know would work or fail, but she had belief that it would work, right? So for me, I took a light, and this was right before, if you know my story, I got into a car accident, everything. My car got totaled. It was that bad. But I was saved, so I was blessed. I was blessed and highly favored. But anyways, I had the decision: would I take the last money that I had and put it into what I would consider the gray area? Like my faith was like, okay, this is the opportunity that someone presented to me, right? But do I know if it's going to succeed? It was like, no, I don't know if it's going to succeed. But do I have the faith that, and the belief that it will succeed? So I literally took, in that moment, I dealt with my own scarcity mindset, and I made that investment to say, hey, I'm going to pay to be a part of the Intentional Success Tribe. Hey, I'm going to pay to be a part of this now coaching business, so I can learn not only what it means to be a coach, but how I can use it and apply it in my life. Because I've been coaching all my life, but actually doing it and having a theory behind it, I was like, I don't have my own theory yet. I'll build that later. But I made the investment and took a bet on myself. And when I took that bet on myself, I've seen it play out in fruition, where I've gained expansion, not only in my network, I've gained expansion in my mindset and in the people who are connected to me. So I could have stayed stuck in the idea or in the mindset of saying, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna stick to what I have. I'm gonna keep the little money that I got because it's doing me a service. But when I looked down into it, it was like, if I kept it and I held on to it, what was going to be in exchange for it? Like, was I gonna waste it on Starbucks or I don't even eat McDonald's, so let me not even lie to y'all. I'm a little bit bougie. But I was like, am I gonna go shopping with it? Am I gonna go get my hair done or my nails done? I could have taken that money and invested it into external things. But like we said last week, this world, once you understand who you are spirit first. Then you understand whose you are literally a creation. You like, for me, I believe in God. So for me, God, like, whose I am, I'm God's child. That is who I believe and what I believe to my core. So when I'm saying these things, once I understood those things, I knew that I had to now make investments into myself. Not into the things that people would see on me, but into my mindset, into my business and how I operate, into all the things that would grow me as a person, that would literally cause me to elevate to the next. Because sometimes we get so caught up in investing into things that are temporary, things that literally serve us like just the recognition or the acceptance or the look of other people. But in reality, what is my mind growing? Am I still at the same mindset that I was when I was in my 20s and when I was in my teenage years? Or have I elevated and grown? And I took that one seed so that I could expand, and that expansion that led me to partnership. So that led me to Alicia, and we got some real things coming up, right? That led me to meet Deanna, and she's been helping me expand in my business mindset. I've been able to observe and be in rooms and settings that have expanded my mind to what is available. But the thing is, that the only way expansion and abundance happens is if you take the first step. And the first step may be paying for that coaching course, going back to school, starting a conversation, jump in somebody DM, sis. Like, it is not nothing to say, hey, you know what? I really like what you said, and I would love to partner with you. I would love to meet with you. Now, understand that everything that you do, there's going to be some type of exchange, whether that's financially, whether that's time commitment, because time is if you ain't learned nothing yet, time is one of the greatest, one of the biggest things, currency is your time. So like there's some things that you may end up having to do, but understand, just like that woman that Elijah spoke to, it took her nothing to make that bread, to use the flour and the oil that she had, because she was already doing it. But it took everything for her to have the faith to give it, so that now she can expand and she don't ever have to worry about food again, because He knew what his power was, and she knew what she had to do to make sure that she lived in abundance and that she continued to expand and to build. So this is Jasmine Porter, and I'm complete. I'm going to pass the mic back to Alicia.
Just make sure that I took some time. First of all, give Alicia and Jasmine their flowers. If you are here in the listening lounge, or even if you're up on stage, me and Renette, and you have been getting something from these amazing messages and these efforts and this motivation from Alicia and Jasmine, just go ahead and flash your mic or raise your hand, because it's so important for folks to know that when they pour, that people are receiving that pour. Yes, thank you so much. I'm seeing the hands go up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate y'all so much for being here and for being a part of the Intentional Success Tribe. And most importantly, for being part of Hey Sis Show Up for You. So I am just really excited about all of the things that are coming up with this group. Y'all remember that Alicia and Jasmine are here every day, Monday through Friday, helping you to understand how you can get out of your own way and get into action. You know, we as women, oftentimes, especially as high performing women, and we see you too, Isaac, we're so glad you're here. Oftentimes, you know, we are the ones that are doing the pouring. We are the ones that are showing up for everyone else. So what I love about this show that Alicia and Jasmine do is that if no other time of day you can dedicate to showing up for yourself, you can show up for yourself here at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And then, of course, the amazing Renette, who's also another Success Tribe VIP. We appreciate her so much. She is a powerhouse. And I just want to also shout out some of the VIPs that are in the listening lounge. I know that they're multitasking. Connie is a Success Tribe VIP. Coach Chardonnay, hey Chardonnay, is one of our Success Tribe VIPs. Dr. Fanique, of course, is one of our Success Tribe VIPs. And hey Lauren, Lauren LC is also one of our VIPs. And we appreciate all of you for being here. The Detailed Diva, Tanya, Isaac, hey Isaac, Nye, Velma. Also, we appreciate so much seeing Shakita here. Proud Oromo, as well as Julie. Listen, y'all, make sure you're pinging people into the room, and also make sure that you're raising your hand, because we want to hear from you. We want you to engage in this conversation before we close out. But again, I just wanted to give some flowers to Alicia and Jasmine, who are doing such an amazing job. And y'all, let's show them some love. We'd love to see you in the Intentional Success Tribe Facebook group, and we'd love for you to come to stage. We want to hear what you got from today's message and from today's conversation. And I'm going to go ahead and pass back to Alicia.
Yes, thank you so much, Deanna. Oh man. So yes, so let me go ahead and close out here on Facebook, and then we're going to continue the conversation here on Clubhouse. I'm so excited, and I thank you all for just staying and listening in. This has definitely been exciting and a very impactful topic to talk about. People are reaching out to us, me and Jasmine, letting us know how these messages have been so transforming for them, and they are letting us know the difference, or the different actions they're taking in their life because of what we share here. So I'm going to go ahead and close out on Facebook. Jasmine, go ahead and take over here, and I'll be back over.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to Hey Sis Show Up for You.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Hey, Mom. I'm so excited that you're getting some stuff too. We are trying something different on how we can actually have people actually talk on Clubhouse, that you guys can hear them or get what they say. But we're figuring it all out. Of course, this is all new. So I shall see you all tomorrow, 8:30, same time. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and we are staying on abundance. So I will talk to you all or see you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.